Hello and welcome. You are watching my DPS Rogue Spec video, which is all about leveling a high damage rogue in Rift. Now, there are a lot of ways to level a rogue, but if you're looking for a high damage stealth build in the vein of the traditional RPG rogue, then this is the build for you. The DPS Rogue Spec is designed to have you doing maximum single target damage throughout the leveling process, and the vast majority of the points are spent on damage increasing talents. Now, you will not be doing damage to multiple targets at once with this build, and you will be drinking a lot between fights due to your squishy rogue nature, but the rate at which you kill things will be pretty outrageous, which will help to make up for the lack of multi-target abilities. So the souls I'm starting with are Blade Dancer, Assassin, and Nightblade. I'm using Virulent Poison, a 1-hour weapon buff, and Keen Strike is my attack. My first 3 points are going into Murderous Intent, with my bonus level 3 point going to Ambidextrous. I've now opened up my first finisher, Final Blow. At levels 4 and 5, I finish off Murderous Intent, which has opened both Stealth and Assassinate, a powerful attack that you use from behind your foe while you are stealthed, and it awards 2 combo points. My first level 6 point goes to Puncture, a damage over time ability, and my second goes to Ambidextrous, which opens up my second finisher, Deadly Strike. Now, even though Final Blow is going to do more damage than Deadly Strike head-to-head, in a few levels there are going to be enough bonuses to Deadly Strike that it is the finisher I'll be using for the duration of this build. My level 7 and 8 talents both go to Cloak and Dagger, which opens Incapacitate, allowing me to take on 2 foes by incapacitating one while I fight the other. At level 9, I begin focusing on Blade Dancer, so both of my points go into Ambidextrous. This opens Quick Strike, a single target attack that can be used after Keen Strike. So now my fights look like this. I start with Assassinate, followed by Puncture to get the dot ticking, Keen Strike, Quick Strike, and Deadly Strike, and finishing the foe off by rotating Keen Strike and Quick Strike and using Deadly Strike whenever I have 5 combo points. Now at level 10, I finish off Ambidextrous, and my level 11 point is going to Strike Back, which is an automatic attack that activates when I parry or dodge. Both level 12 points go into Blade and Fury, and levels 13 and 14 go to Blade Finesse. Levels 15 through 17 go to Combat Expertise, and this has opened up Weapon Barrage, a silencing ability that is handy to have around when up against casters. My first level 18 point finishes Combat Expertise, and my second goes to Blade Tempo, a buff that increases most of my damage by 30% for 15 seconds, so I'll be using this to start every fight so long as it is off cooldown. Now, I've also opened Twin Strike, which does moderate damage to multiple targets, but I find that I'm really better off just getting one target down and then moving on to the next. Now, levels 19 through 21 go to Improved Deadly Dance, and my second level 21 goes to Blade Finesse. Now, I've also opened up Compound Attack, which is a multi-target finisher. Now, unlike Twin Strike, Compound Attack actually is worth using against multiple mobs, so long as they aren't incapacitated. Now, levels 22 and 23 both go to Vivacity, and at this point, all I want to do is open up the 24-point ability Precision Strike, so I need 2 more points in Blade Dancer, and there are really 3 good options here. 2 points in Blade Finesse will have the largest impact right now. 2 points in Hack and Slash will have the largest impact as I go deeper into the Assassin tree, and 2 points in Blade Hustle will only help me in multi-target fights now, but it'll have a huge impact after level 50 when most of my fights will be taking around 20 seconds to complete. So I'm going to go ahead and opt for Blade Hustle, and that way I don't have to worry about re-speccing later. Now, I've opened up the 24-point ability Precision Strike, which awards 2 combo points and eventually replaces Quick Strike altogether. For now, though, the opening to my rotation is Assassinate, Puncture, Keen Strike, Quick Strike, Deadly Strike, and then starts a repeating rotation using my 4 primary powers that actually is used all the way to level 60. So once you get used to it, the build becomes really easy to play. It's more or less in 2 parts, and it goes like this: Keen Strike, Precision Strike, Puncture, Keen Strike, Deadly Strike, and then the second half is Precision Strike, Keen Strike, Precision Strike, Deadly Strike, and repeat. And now that I have Precision Strike, I'm done with Blade Dancer, and I can move back over to the Assassin tree. I'll finish off Cloak and Dagger at level 25, and I'll put a point in Ruthlessness at 26, and my level 27 points go to Blinding Powder and Silent Footsteps. Now, Blinding Powder, that allows me to take on 3 mobs by incapacitating one and confusing the other, although I'll really only use this if I absolutely have to, since 3 mobs will still be dangerous to me even with Blinding Powder, which only confuses them for 10 seconds. Silent Footsteps is not a necessary talent, but it does allow me to move much faster while I'm stealthed, and after 27 levels of maddeningly slow stealth, this makes me pretty happy. Now, I've also opened my second weapon buff, Leeching Poison. So levels 28 through 30 go to Ruthlessness, and levels 30 through 32 go to Poison Potency. Now at this point, I should mention again that what I'm doing with this build is going for maximum damage throughout the leveling process. So while abilities like Paralyzing Strike and Backstab are awesome, they really don't help me accomplish my goal of killing things as quickly as possible, so I'll be ignoring them. Both level 33 points are going to Cruel Vengeance, and this has opened Lethal Poison, which replaces Leeching Poison. Now at level 34, I take Improved Stealth, which removes the 30-second timer on stealth, and my next 2 points go into Subterfuge, followed by 2 points in Serrated Blades. This opens Expose Weakness, which can be cast on my target without breaking stealth, and acts as a damage buff for me. So now I'll be casting Expose Weakness and Blade Tempo before each fight. My 2 points in Subterfuge have also changed my rotation, since Assassinate now adds 3 combo points and not 2. Basically, this means that I'm taking Quick Strike out of my rotation completely, and my rotation's opening is simply Assassinate, Puncture, Keen Strike, Deadly Strike, and then I go straight into the second half of the repeating rotation, starting with Precision Strike. Levels 38 through 41 all go into Poison Mastery. Oh, and by the way, an option here is to take Enduring Brew, which is a nice self-heal and will save you a lot of stopping to drink. Now, I haven't taken it in my build, but you could definitely take it at level 38 and then just continue on with the rest of the build as is. Now I've opened up Jagged Strike, which is a From Stealth ability and should do more damage as a fight opener than Assassinate based on the damage indicated in the descriptions. It should, but it doesn't. Now, I've tested them several times, and Assassinate will do as well or slightly better in over 10 seconds against normal mobs, and about 10% better against elites due to its armor-piercing nature. So you can really disregard Jagged Strike until you take Threat of Death at level 49. So at level 42, I'm taking Slip Away, which allows me to sneak out of any fight. My next 2 points go to Advanced Flanking, and then I finish off Serrated Blades and put another point into Cruel Vengeance. I've now opened up Impale, which will go into my rotation once I get to level 50 and my fights are taking around 20 seconds. Now until then, I'm just sticking with Deadly Strike as my only finisher. From levels 45 through 48, I take Heartseeker, which gives me a massive increase to my assassin damage, but not enough to overtake the DPS of Keen Strike, Precision Strike, and Deadly Strike, so my rotation still remains the same. Now I've also opened Poison Malice, which I actually can rotate with Blade Tempo, since a lot of my fights Blade Tempo is not, off cooldown. Now I have 2 good buffs that I can use instead of just the 1. Now, just as a reminder, from levels 49 on, there are no more bonus points, so the maximum points in a build is 76. Now, at 49, I'll take Threat of Death, which has no global cooldown and allows me to seamlessly weave a second From Stealth ability into my rotation. So really, the main parts of this build are now done, and from this point forward, I'm just going to add damage to the build. So from 50 to 59, I'm taking 5 points each in Blazing Fury and Coup de Grace, and at 60, I'll just finish the whole thing off with Manslaughter, although I should stress that this is not the max damage single target melee build for rogues. At level 60, you can definitely get higher DPS by going with a 61-point assassin build and a much different rotation. But this build is far superior to pure assassin through most of the leveling process. Now, speaking of rotations, the introduction of the Threat of Death to the build gives it a much more complex opening. From 49 until 60, the opening to the rotation will be Assassinate, Puncture, Keen Strike, Impale due to the increased length of the fights, Threat of Death and Jagged Strike. Since Assassinate only works from behind, Jagged Strike is the better option after Threat of Death. Precision Strike and Deadly Strike round out the opening. Now, sometime in the very near future, the mob I'm fighting is going to die, but regardless, I can now start the repeating rotation I've always had, which again is Keen Strike, Precision Strike, Puncture, Keen Strike, Deadly Strike, and then Precision Strike, Keen Strike, Precision Strike, and Deadly Strike. And then it all repeats. So that's it for my DPS Rogue spec, and just in case all of those powers got really confusing, there is a written level-by-level guide to this spec and its rotations waiting for you at soulsearchersguide.com. So head on over there and sign up for a free account. And thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.